we got problems.
I
Man
agree.
is destroying the earth, and the only people that
Destroying
can
himself.
stop this is us. Well,
That's what store.
no, there's already people that have done that, and people are losing their legs.
No, 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 no. I'm not talking about put
Oh, you mean
silicone and
padded
all.
butts?
You can do padded butts, so
Well,
we can
the
do,
guy that was married to Kim Kardashian said she did wear a padded one.
really.
The first guy, remember the basketball player?
Yeah. What was
He
his name?
said she used to. I don't know, but he's awful cute.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy.
He said she used to pat her butt.
No kidding.
Yeah, she's so fake.
Yeah.
Don't get me to talking about celebrities
I
like the
know.
Chris Brown. That's messed up. That girl has a police record. She did the same thing to a roommate.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, yeah, she's trouble. He said she's lying. She told them something like he did something to her.
Yeah, he pulled a
But
gun on her,
she didn't.
allegedly.
No, this is another person
Oh,
that was
okay.
a roommate,
Okay.
but didn't show up at court when she was put in a restraint order.
Oh.
She's also wanted because she stole something. She was Miss California and got kicked off because of immoral. Everything's coming forward how this woman lies. She just prefabricates story. And from what I hear, he was asking her to sign a confidential agreement to be, and that's very normal, to go into a famous person's house to sign a confidential agreement.
Right.
That way you can't be sneaking and taking pictures and selling them because then they can get you.
You know,
I don't
Why-
think he's lying.
why do celebrities have to bring people to their home?
Well, they have parties because they can't go out in public like we can. They can't just walk down a street. Everybody's following them and running after them. I used to see this with Michael. I can remember once we were in D.C. at a museum, they literally broke down one of those portable walls they put up to
Yeah.
get at him. So
Wow.
I seen it happen in London. So, they have to give up their freedom, and which is kind of sad.
I think I would probably, and it's easy for me to, or anybody else to sit on the sideline and say, well, I wouldn't do it that way. But maybe if you're going to have a party, why don't you just rent a hotel suite? And, that way it's not in your private environment.
Well, I think sometimes it's better in his own private environment. She came with somebody that he knew.
Mm.
I was reading the whole story on
Yeah.
it. I think she's lying.
She might
Ray
be.
J said
Yeah.
she's lying because when he walked out of there, they stopped him, the police. And I
who was this?
feel Ray J.
Oh.
I feel for Chris
Well, he
Brown
did not have a
because
lot of
the
credibility.
comment he made was, when the stalker was in my house, I couldn't even get the cops there in time. But when they think
Mm-hmm.
I've pulled a gun or did something wrong, they bring SWAT and everybody
Yep.
because of this one girl. And I mean, they pulled up a lot of dirt on her.
Yeah.
So it looks like
Well,
she does this to people.
Yeah.
Oh, she did. She sent a text to the guy that brought her there. I have to find the text. And she told him it's getting ready to go down. So see, she was doing something intentionally. And he asked her something with his jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had been known to have stolen from her own friends.
Mm.
So she might be going to jail over things that they finally know where she's at.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't know where she is?
They know
Is she
now.
MIA?
They know now.
Okay.
So this
Well,
isn't new
hopefully
with
for-
her.
I hope for Chris.
Yeah,
that he
he'll go to
hasn't-
prison.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's pretty bad. And he had that bad situation with Rihanna. And I hope that he has gotten smarter. And again, he might learn from this situation. Things that you just can't do. And even for high profile people, whether they're celebrities or, politicians or whatever, you have to be trustworthy, honest, open, transparent, dedicated, loyal. But at the same time, I think you have an obligation to be honest with them. And when you see them do something that may be harmful, I think you need to tell them.
Yeah, but sometimes when you
know?
do tell them, nobody listens. Because that happened to
What?
me
Yeah.
when he met those last kids, Michael. I did it again. I hadn't did it lately, though. I know now I'm listening on TV when people do that.
Oh, and you hear it a lot, don't you?
When he, I did it again. I introduced him to those kids. When I found out what they were about, I went straight to his assistant, his main woman she didn't do nothing. I went to a chauffeur. I said, get him away from those kids. I only knew those kids from a dance school because my son was a tap dancer.
Right.
And those kids went there and they befriended me there for some reason. it was funny because the only reason I did because a famous person asked me to do that, and I said I don't like doing that, and I did, and I felt bad after because when I wanted them to warn him to stay away, I thought they did warn him. Next thing I know, I see him on TV with the kid, so they never did warn him. And when I said something to him, they said, "Well, we work for him," and I said, "So if he wanted to jump off of the Empire State Building, would they have let him?"
Right.
So there's got to be a time when you work for somebody, if you see something's going to happen or something's not right, you
Speak
try
up.
to stop it.
Yeah. At least try.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Yeah. So now, was this one of the kids that accused him of?
The last kid, the little Hispanic kid, because
Okay.
the girl moved in with me.
Hmm.
So when we went to court, I was really the surprise witness that everybody kept saying it was Chris Tucker. I don't know where Chris Tucker constantly tells people he introduced him because he didn't. He met Michael through them
Ah.
because they had did something at the Comedy Store and Chris Tucker became friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
But what had happened is during the case, they didn't want me on the stand, the defense lawyer, and they made some kind of agreement because I was staying in a hotel then.
Mm.
So I didn't have to go on the stand. My friend Renee went on the stand, but she didn't really know Michael. But I guess just as a character witness.
Right.
But it's just sad because I would never do that now. I won't introduce anybody to my clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that because
It's a risk.
you don't
And
know
you
the people.
And you don't know what their
I mean, when the
bottom
little
line
girl
motive is.
lived with me,
Yeah.
she was sweet, but she would tell me stories what her mother would do to all them and how she'd make them steal. And then one day her whole attitude changed and she was real happy. And she said to me, "We're going to move into Hollywood Hills." I said, "How are you going to move in Hollywood Hills?" Because she lived with me
Uh-huh.
at that time.
Right.
And the father wasn't with him. When people think he had nothing to do with this, it was the mother. I said, "How are you going to do that?" "Well, Michael," and she went to tell me something and she shut up. My head went cling, cling, cling. That's when I called his people. I said, "They're up to something. They're not the people I thought they were." She was a con artist. She trained these kids to be con artists. It wasn't the father. But now, years later, the little Gavin, who's older now and he's married, he's come forward and he's even said it on Twitter. He never did anything to me. Never. He said, "My mother made us do this." And I've seen it. He's told people this. But it's too late.
Yeah.
Michael's dead.
Yeah.
And he can blame himself some because when things like that happen, you start wanting to take more and more pills to try to forget.
Yeah.
So he can live with that the rest of his life. I know he was young, but you know, when you're young, you still know better. By the time you're 5, you start developing your brain to know right from wrong.
Yeah. But
And then one
Even
of the
at that
kids
age.
recently took a gun to some girl.
really.
And he actually was the one I always thought that would never do anything wrong. See, Gavin was a nice kid, but my son couldn't stand him in tap. I think my son hit him with some tap shoes once. My son was sometimes, he
A
didn't
little
put
rough,
up
huh?
with. He
Yeah.
was very rough.
Well, you've had an interesting road that you lived on, and the stories are just amazing.
Oh, people come to me all the time and say, "Let's write a book," because I can tell you stories about so many, but not bad stories, just character type stories.
Sure.
And
Who's your favorite celebrity that you have worked with,
Michael,
Michael?
because he was the most down to earth. There's nothing weird about him, believe me. When people say that, it really bothers me because if you really knew Michael, probably one of the most genuine people you could ever meet,
Yeah.
not selfish. There's nothing he wouldn't do for you.
Yeah.
Just totally, totally.
Were the other brothers as nice?
I met Randy because I permed his hair a few times. I think Tito was. I knew Tito because I did his kids, the 3 T's hair. I used to barber and braid their hair, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they were very nice.
Yeah, I found
I
them to
didn't
be nice
really. I
people.
met Jermaine once. I brought him. I went to the ranch with one of my friends, and he was hitting on her, and he was married to I think 2 women at the time.
Is he Mormon?
No, what had happened is the woman he's with now was
Yeah.
in the Middle East,
Ah.
and he had a wife here. I think Barry
Ah.
Gordy's wife, daughter.
Daughter, yeah.
Hazel.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But he was like a dog to
Rain.
me
2 ships passing in the night.
because he was all over my friend.
Now, wait a minute. I got to ask you a question. What's up with his hair? What is that?
I don't know. It's the same thing.
Conk? I mean, it's like processed.
Sometimes people think they straighten the hair and then you put some tattoos there to cover it, that you're losing hair. I think that's what he's guilty of, but he doesn't see that. We see it. I see women do the same thing.
But I mean, it reminds me of back in the '60s when guys used to slick their hair back and with the little
Yeah,
waves
but
in
I
it.
think he has a tattoo going on there
Oh,
too
really?
for the hairline.
Ah,
There's
okay,
something strange in there.
okay, okay.
But
I haven't seen him in
he
person in a long
doesn't see
time.
it. That's what's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah,
Sometimes we do things that we think looks great. It's
yeah,
like a woman that'll draw her eyebrows on.
yeah.
If you know how to do it right, because there's new ways they do it now, and it's very normal for, I don't know for older women though, younger women.
Yeah, some women tattoo those.
Oh,
she was telling me that she wouldn't be able to make the show, right? So I said, yeah, for the stuff and all the things that he claimed, like sending 12 million people back to their country. And she said, I'm glad you listened to the whole thing. But let me just tell you, wacko campaign alone. So if he spends $100 million, he gets refunded from your wonderful donations. Now, I don't think that's illegal. It may not be. But the fact of the matter is, he's doing that. I think that if you are seriously interested in becoming the president of the United States, negotiating peace to use with his to better his contract with NBC, that was it. But I know that, Jeb Bush will probably beat me out, and I'll just go ahead and act a damn fool. And that's what he did. He knocked off everybody on the stage that was running for the nomination. Again, that just shows you how weak he won on a popularity vote because of a household name, Trump. That's all it was. And he's a successful businessman. Not true. As Bloomberg called him, he's a con man. He's not a credible business person. You can't have credibility being sued or involved in lawsuits 3,500 about in the press. But, this is the thing. Listen, say what you want to say about Hillary Clinton. Free health care. I don't give a damn whether you want to call it socialism or not. It's what's needed for people who are less fortunate. And if we stop caring about them, in addition to racism, those are the realities. Grapes, cherries, oranges, apples, pineapples. Will you do that? You have a degree. You might have 2 or 3 degrees and may not have a damn job. But you're not willing to go out and do. Are you willing to do? Not.
They outsource to India and
Absolutely.
China and that. And
Listen, I get emails every day.
it's like Louis Vuitton's because the India or China.
But listen, I get emails every day because I have a web development company. And I get emails from people in India, the Philippines. Development company, the functionality will be there at a good price, an affordable price, to make a lot more. So America, if you believe in yourself, then support American-made products, support American workmanship, support companies that believe in America first. That's not a democratic mindset. That's not a Republican. People in other countries can't do the job as well. But I want to help my people, my country. Then we can thrive and grow into the future. If we don't do that, we will become a third world. I was watching the Shark Tank one night, and there was a man on there trying to get them to invest in his idea, whatever. And it was saluted my friend from North Carolina, and I can't remember his name. I saluted that man for standing made in North Carolina, preferably, or somewhere in America. And that warmed my heart. It really did. So I hope that this man is still in the business and successful. And I wish I could remember the name of the company because I would give him a plug right now. But look it up. There's a company in North Carolina truck. And it folds down and eliminates itself so it's cosmetically appealing So if your wife doesn't like this rack on your truck, you can get rid of it real quick. And it was doable. So that's what I like to see America become more of. I would like to see American companies build stuff, sell stuff here in America and abroad. I'm not opposed to exporting our goods and services to other countries as long as they're willing to pay a price. If not, then too bad, so sad. They don't want it. They can't afford it. That's fine. Every suit that's made in a department store, you can't afford. You may not be able to afford a $2,000 suit, but maybe you can afford one for $250. So you need to go to the store that you can afford. Every product you may not be able to afford. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So if your price point is at a certain point because it costs X amount of dollars to manufacture that, so be it. But your manufacturing quality, to me, that's most important. I don't want to have to buy it every 6 months, but I pay maybe $100 more for something that's going to last for 20 years. Importantly, you're keeping Americans working, thriving, building, growing. That's what we should be all about. Slogan: America first. It's about us, not about me. It's about us. Let's look at us as a group. What do we need? We need affordable health care. We need to get the pharmaceutical people in line, stop gouging. The hospitals, the doctors, the lawyers. Hey, y'all, check yourself. See, here's the thing. $60,000 cost. Then you're a doctor now. You're a lawyer. And you got a $300,000 or $400,000 or $600,000 mortgage to pay. And you don't even have a damn job yet. Facing you from day one is a huge, you're now a doctor. Industry lowered its cost to cover those fees. Comes down. So it's working together. But we are greedy Americans. Everybody wants to be greedy. It's just like the other day when the crazy president goes to show you how overpriced this drug is. If you can afford to discount it by $300 and you're still charging somebody $300 for it, when it only costs you $13 to manufacture, and this woman, I can't think of her name, Carol, if you remember her name, I don't remember it. Her father is a politician, a congressman member from West Virginia. I understand he's not so proud of her decision of raising the price on this drug.
Well, she said it goes to all different people, too. Like 3 different before it gets to her, but that's still no excuse.
Bull.
But I'm just curious.
She gave herself an $18 million raise.
Are you able to get it from other countries since they own the...
We're greedy, and we take the advantage of people who are in need. How do you sleep at night? I'm for making a profit, but I'm not for gouging and taking advantage of people because you can. Because people have no...
We'll have a hit.
But he doesn't want to talk.
That statue's was representative of what he looks like or what he is. I think he does have some issues. They're auctioning one of them, the one the guy saved at that
No
soap
kidding.
store. Yep.
The little wiener.
I don't even think it was that. It was, what, a button?
A nub.
Poor
a stub.
Guy. But, you know, I think he...
So he says, Donald Trump is in the best health of any presidential candidate. You would go into more details. You would say everything from heart, to his organs. He's in, perfect shape. He has a great diet, no issues, whatever. But at least more medical details other than making a false, bovine, bloated. Supposed to accept that? Really. He won't show his taxes. Hillary has shown hers. And in fact, it shows a reduction in income from the previous year. From 14 to 15, it was a substantial drop. I think it was a $12 million difference between her and her husband's joint tax returns. She has given her medical reports, but people are claiming that she's ill because she's not out on the campus. Maybe that's part of her strategy. Maybe that's part of her plan, because it's about to heat up. Once they get into these debates and they're really going around and setting up their day-to-day plan, when President Barack Obama jumps out there on the stump and Biden and all the rest of the heads of the Democratic Party, oh, yeah, they will be on point. Believe it. Because that's the way it always happens. So I'm sure that there's a strategy from the Democratic Party. I'm sure of that. And they're certainly spending money, millions of dollars a day, advertising. So they're engaged in all of that. And then there's two other people that are running, Stein and Johnson, Green Party and the Libertarians. Neither one of them can break double digits at this point. And people say, well, why don't we talk about them? Well, I don't spend a lot of time on them because there's not a lot to talk about. I think that they have not done a good job at marketing and strategy and building a credible platform, quite honestly. And if Johnson is the best candidate that the Libertarians can come up with, I'm sorry, I just don't see much credibility in this guy. And he's with the Republican mindset, then what would be attractive to have you to go to something else? You stick with what you got. Until someone with some credibility and not being so edgy with a third party, then we will have a two-party system moving forward. But he was funny. He used to make me laugh, but I really couldn't take him serious because he was a cross between, what was that character? Pinocchio and Howdy Doody. I said, no, I can't vote for this guy. He can't be the president of the United States. He was just like weird, you know? And that's what's wrong with the third parties. They're weird. Now, we got two major candidates here. They got some strangeness about them, too. No question about it. Donald Trump is a carnival barker. He's a shyster. He's her husband. To be able to go through life in those kinds of positions without controversy. Because you always got people barking up the tree trying to pull you down. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you how it is, how it works. You have to learn to separate things like that. He made that happen. And every president has had things that if they could do a take two on it, they probably would not do the same thing. Everything except popcorn. And I hold him single-handed responsible for the deregulation of the broadcast industry, which screwed everything up, which put hundreds, if not thousands of people out of work. Great, talented broadcasters from management, sales, people out of work because of the consolidation, and they will never gain because they can do it, because it's not illegal. And until we change the rules so that people can't just do things like this, they will continue to do that. But as long as we have a Congress that it doesn't have the cojones to change the laws and don't pay attention to the lobbyists, then we're stuck with that mindset. As long as Donald Duck controllers of Clear Channel / now new pay themselves bonuses for doing a poor job, make their workers do 2 or 3, and only you, I'm talking about you, every single person who is listening and watching this broadcast, only you can bring about that change. If you don't like making $7, $8, $9, $10 an hour, the company you work for also owns the competition. When one company can own 6 or 7 radio stations in any given market, when those used to be owned by 5 or 6 different owners, you had options. You could be a free agent. You could, at the end of your contract, negotiate with someone else and get a better deal. That doesn't exist anymore. The biggest radio stations in America, it's not like you can pick up and go from Atlanta to Chicago because radio is not
Maybe
dead.
old people.
No, there's still a lot of young people.
No, a lot
listening
of
to
young people, when they step in your car,
Some
they
do.
go, can I go, no, my son of young people do not listen to the radio.
Well, in fact, I just read a story, a research project today that young
Are not real followers. It's just another way of
But-
brainwashing the. No,
Right.
a lot of things, but
Okay.
majority, yes.
But you're right. Now, let me just read this to you. There's a survey of young people under the age of 16. This is the latest research. I just got this information today.
YouTube, people pay them.
But it doesn't matter.
They
That
pay
doesn't matter.
them. In the car,
Mm-hmm.
she has on her phone her own music. She
Right.
pushes it in, and she don't talk. My 17-year-old granddaughter, when she gets in the car, it's the same. Not letting themselves be controlled. Even Cyrus it was huge for a minute, but people now can do this themselves. I have stuff music that I like, and it's all different type. My son, I get in the car with him, I'm blown away with some of the music that I never get to hear anywhere else. So
Yeah. Well, that's what the internet
where
has done.
somebody's going to be, I was blown away with listening to her. I don't know what her name was, but the show sucked. It was all lip singing. How could you do it? I've seen Rihanna. You
They all
see
do it.
everybody do it, and it's like, come through his microphone stuff.
Mhm.
But her came out. That's why people
Well-
like Guns N' Roses and
Their success on today.
plus the artist buys it, Lee. They'll go
I
out
know.
and buy a million of these records. And you really did win a Grammy. There's some oil before she gets on because she's so damn stiff. I get a headache just watching these artists. I shut it off. I shut it off because I couldn't handle it. I go, this is an embarrassment. And then how can MTV even have a music thing? You don't even promote videos any longer. So how are you having an award show? They couldn't even get anybody to host it. Did you see the guys hosting it?
I didn't
that was
watch
the
it.
biggest joke in the world.
Who was it? I don't even know.
I don't know who these guys were. And
Okay.
then you had Conway, I call him Yanway, step out, and his stupid ass wife announces Britney Spears. It's like, let's call it Conway West Show. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them reaching in and paying for somebody that needs some money or help. There's some selfish assholes.
Okay.
And I'm sick of Beyonce,
Hey,
to be
Carol.
honest. But I would
Okay.
go to her show. I could get a free ticket.
Let me do a commercial here.
Okay.
If you need extensions, call Carol. 1-800-I-NEED-HELP.
That's the truth, because it's an embarrassment to me to see what people call extensions now. I
And
mean,
Carol's
it's
she's the ace at extensions
there's
and
a
hair.
lot they're doing. They take
Is it because they don't know any better?
I don't like men when they start dyeing their hair dark. I noticed Obama
Okay,
recently.
that was a good answer, Carol. That was a good answer.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the man with gray hair. Now, women, I don't think they should let the gray grow in.
Doesn't bother me.
But most women don't let it grow in.
I know, but I'm saying if
Your hair looks great. You
if-
just need a haircut again.
I'm not going to get a haircut until Jesse gets one. Jesse's been overdue for about 6 months. He looks like a hippie. A homeless man. He's a character. We're talking about Jesse T that has a show here at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
He's
Pacific.
a policeman. mistake a saxophone for a machine gun. They just shot somebody. They said it's real anymore. When you look at it's either we settle out of court or we're going to sue.
Yeah,
You don't make that big a mistake.
2,100. Well, JetBlue did something good the other day. They did the first commercial flight to Cuba. So that's the beginning of open flights to Cuba for vacation, for business, for whatever, which I'm happy to see. And I made a prediction, Carol, when President Obama was elected. I said, I bet you one of the things that's going to happen during his time in office is he's going to open up relations between the U.S. and Cuba. And he did it. He did it.
And they probably hate that he did it.
And even some Cubans are not happy about it. If you're down in South Florida, you know what I'm talking about. When you go down to Little Havana, which is kind of an interesting little area, and some of the Cubans there don't like the fact that now the kid, for whatever reasons, will just come here for
Well,
a
because
visit.
they were in poverty, because we stopped so much for them happening. And I'm sure you still have a lot of communist type people that followed Fidel. I put it in.
Damn.
I fixed it. I was so proud
for
of
you.
myself. I fixed, and I've learned now how to take the screen off when your sink's running slow and water. You have to go in there and get the stuff that settles in that screen or replace the screen.
Yeah.
But you can do that with anything that you do nowadays, like something with your car, what you're seeing. You can go buy that auto part and have someone put it in, and
Absolutely.
you'll pay way less money.
I've done that on washers and dryers.
My daughter does that with her car. She goes and
Cars,
buys the
yep.
brakes and brings it to people.
Sure. And they're see, I think he's around 21 now. A good-looking kid. Let's see if I can get some little details here on this. Yeah, and he's now 21, 22 years old. And let's see here, Elion, American, trying to see what he's doing at this time. Now 21 years old, first time since returning to Cuba. He went back to see his father in 2000. Immigration. I hate these articles. They do a lot of fluff.
And I'm like, oh, man. So I probably couldn't get on that stage and move either.
Yeah. Well,
But she's a lot younger than me.
that's how she might.
And I do like her as a person. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I would like to see some different artists now.
But you know what, Carol, in all fairness to not only to Brittany, but to anyone, what's a girl's name? She was a great dancer and a little pop singer back in the
That's my stupid son.
You better get him some help. He looks like he was about to lose it.
No, he does stuff like that. He'll throw a wig on his dog and him and dance.
Yeah, have fun. But you never know what a person is going through.
Well, I think she goes through a lot because I
Yeah.
think she's medicated. But
Yeah.
and I heard she's really nice because I was offered once to work with a person that's in the same field. And,
Genre.
I'm not putting her down when I say what I say. It's just I think it's time to quit putting all this hype on her.
Well, you know what? Though people like to possess and have control, and because of their egos, and they think that if they hire you, facial structure, different hair, so you have to create something.
Stamps.
Are you
He
kidding
feels
me?
people that
I'm going to say the wrong person. Was it Barbara Streisand said if he wins, had to do a thing for me, and that's it. Do your thing. I'm good.
it's 12 o'clock.
You what? Oh, it's 12 o'clock. Shut up, in other words.
Did you hear me whispering? 12 o'clock.
All right, folks, the show is over. Carol's just pulled the plug on me. Safe. Love you. See you tomorrow.